I'm Maureen Rogers, and welcome to Curtain Call. I'm here to interview the director and the costumer and some of the actors from You Can't Take It With You, which is opening up Friday, February the 9th. So we're here today, right now, with John Cusumano, who is the director of You Can't Take It With You, and he has directed before at Laurel Playhouse, and we're delighted to have him back.
Thank you.
So tell us why you decided to direct You Can't Take It With You.
Because it is one of the funniest plays I have ever read. The things that go on in one of the actors described it as the monsters, that because you never know what's going to happen, what's going to pop in, and it's just so zany and crazy. The whole thing is like one guy comes and stays for 8 years, lives in the basement for 8 years, and does fireworks. Nobody really works but the daughter, and it's just crazy. The one daughter wants to be a ballerina, and so she dances around, and the husband plays the xylophone, and she makes candies that get delivered, and there's a little trouble that happens in between there, and the main character is the grandfather and his daughter, Penny Sycamore, and the other two main characters are Alice, who is the Sycamore's daughter, and Tony, who is the love interest. And his family is rich, and Alice works for his father. And so there's a little conflict there. And I don't want to give the whole thing away, but because you really should come see it. But it was a challenge. It was a challenge to put it all together. And comedy is a lot harder than drama. I mean, because you really have to have that timing down perfect.
Right.
So
it's a play that Laurel Playhouse, this will be the third time they've done it. And the reason that we do it so often is because actors just love to be in it, and patrons love to come back again and again to see it, especially with different people and different directors, because it just gives another twist. So
yeah.
It's kind of a crazy, zany family.
Oh my God, is it really? It really is. It really is. Did a couple of different things that I don't think have ever been done before. There's a scene with the painting, because Penny used to paint 8 years before she did playwriting. And so she painted this Mr. DePina as a discus thrower. And I did something really different with that. Because I looked online at a couple of things and didn't even look anything like the person. And then I heard the last time you guys did it, they didn't even show the painting. So this time you're going to see the painting, and it's going to be really funny. And the grandfather is a snake hunter. So I have something of him on the wall that I won't give away. When people come to see it, they'll see what's on the wall. And I have baby pictures of the two girls on the wall, and that are really funny. So, we did a couple of different things. We changed, like Kalenkoff is a man's part. I made it a woman, and it
has worked fabulously.
Oh my God.
It's so funny.
She's very funny. She embraced the part, and she took it and she ran with it, and she came up with some different things, and we talked about different things, and she's very funny, very funny.
And she is an actress that just got recently nominated for a Watch Award in this area for another show.
Yes.
So hopefully she'll be nominated
again.
For this show again.
Yeah.
It would be great. It's a lot of people on a small stage, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, so I had to make compensations with certain things because of stage size. I don't have the dining room part, but it works because they're so crazy. We figured, why have a table anyway? Everybody would just eat where they work, where they, like by the xylophone, I have Essie and Ed, and Penny sits at her typewriter, and the husband, Paul, and Mr. DePina just have chairs. And so I did different things with it to make it work. And it really does. It works great. The whole cast is bonded and gelled together, and the running time on the show is really, really good. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah.
Because it's 3 acts, and sometimes 3 acts could be long.
But it moves very quick. And
Yeah.
You're just kind of spellbound.
And the one thing I wanted was have laughter through the whole thing. there's only one scene that there isn't any laughs, but the whole rest of the play is laughs. Laughs are nonstop.
Now, I understand that you have found a few intriguing facts out about You Can't Take It With You.
Yes,
Did you want to share that with us?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I always have fun facts when I come here. So the play opened in 1936 at the Booth Theater in New York and ran for 838 performances and ran for 2 years. It won a Pulitzer Prize, and it was the first time. There were a lot of firsts with this play and the film, because it was the first time the play and the film played simultaneously.
That is different.
So that was a first. The other first was that before they wrote the play, they wrote all the characters and then called their producer and had the whole show cast before they even put the first word on paper. So that was another first.
That is.
Yeah, it was really interesting stuff. I mean, it was the first time Jimmy Stewart and Frank Capra worked together. You know, so, and then of course we know they went on to do other things together. But yeah, this was all the first.
Yeah, it's sort of interesting.
It is.
To say that he wanted all these people and then wrote a play around them.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, and
different.
And the funny thing was that in the play it had only 19 characters, and the movie used 153.
Oh
Well,
my
because
gosh.
they wanted Jimmy Stewart to have a bigger part in it, because in the play, Tony, the part isn't as big as you see in the movies. So, and they added in where Martin Vanderhoff, the grandfather, the movie opens with him going to see the banker that's trying to buy his property. So they have all those people in there. So they added extra things into the movie, you know, that weren't in the play. The only thing the movie doesn't have is they don't have the Duchess, Olga Katrina, and they don't have the actress, Gay Wellington. Oh. They omitted them from the movie. And
they're very special parts. People love to play those.
They're small parts, but the part of Gay Wellington is one of the funniest in the show. I'd say next to Kalenkov, it was the funniest part in the show, and she's only in like 2 scenes in the whole play.
And I think Olga's pretty funny too. She comes in with an accent. And
yeah, she is really funny, and Anne does a nice job. Her and Terry do a nice job with the accent, with the Russian accent.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, really good.
That's great. So what else is different or unusual?
About the play?
About the play, your fun facts.
My fun fact. Oh, fun facts again, we're on. Okay. Well, Ann Miller, who people remember, was a famous dancer. She plays the oldest sister, Essie. And Ann Miller was only 15 when she did the part. And she would go off stage and cry because her feet was so broken and hurt from doing the toe points. And she would go off by herself and nobody knew. And one day Jimmy Stewart saw her crying and he would send her candy every day.
Oh, sweet.
So that was another little fun fact. But yeah, it's interesting. It won 2 Academy Awards, one for Best Picture, one for Best Director. So yeah, pretty cool.
We just love doing it. I love seeing it. I know it's going to be a favorite at Laurel Mill Playhouse. It starts February the 9th.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you're directing it.
Oh, thank you.
Now, you've done other things. So tell everybody what you've done before at Laurel Mill Playhouse, acting and directing wise.
Okay, well, I directed the Lost Episodes of Carol Burnett. That was the first thing I directed there. The first play I was in there was Arsenic and Old Lace. I played Lieutenant Rooney. And then I was just in A Wonderful Life, the radio play. I just did that.
All family favorites.
Yeah.
They're so much fun.
Yeah, you know, and it's fun. And Laurel Mill Playhouse is really great to work in because I like the intimacy. Because it's 60 seats and you feel like you're part of it, you know, the audience. Because I've seen shows there too, and you really feel like you're part of the whole process.
And the actors can pick up the enthusiasm from the office, from the audience, so it makes a nice experience.
It does.
For both of them. And every seat is a good seat
Oh,
at
yeah.
Laurel Mill
You can see
Playhouse.
everywhere.
You can see the spit, you know, you can see the sweat on their face.
You can see everything. You could see the whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing you could see. Yeah, the whole process of even like putting this together there was really, really interesting. You know, and and I talk to all the actors, and I get their opinion on how they feel about things that we're doing. The best thing was one of the funniest things is the wrestling scene, because Terry is so small and Mark Allen is just so big. So, it's, when people come to see it, they're going to really enjoy this, because I haven't stopped laughing. And last night, we all had to talk about it and say, all right, it's time we all stop laughing, because we really need to get done with this, because it really is so funny.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to seeing the whole thing. I've seen snippets here and there, and also thank you so much for bringing, the cast is having a great time. They've really bonded well, and that just makes the whole thing a nice experience.
Yeah, and we have a lot of new actors in this one. A lot of new people in this. Yeah, we have at least four new people, 4 or 5 new people.
So Laurel Playhouse is open to other people, so to act, not just the same old people. So come out and do an audition for us. You'll probably get cast.
Yeah, we're always looking for new people. It's always fun.
Thank you, John, so much for coming out here today and for directing the show. And
Thanks.
We'll look forward to you doing future things at Laurel Playhouse.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
The IRS is calling me? Is this for real?
Fraud is real. Hang up on fraud. Americans have lost more than $23 million by giving out information and money to criminals impersonating the Internal Revenue Service. Scammers are aggressive when they contact a potential victim and claim to be from the IRS. They often use a fake telephone number with a U.S. area code. They demand immediate payment. They may even threaten police arrest or deportation. Don't believe them. Instead, just hang up. Don't provide any information to these crooks. The real IRS will generally first make contact by letter and will never demand immediate payment or threaten force. If you suspect you've been contacted by an IRS scammer, submit an incident report with the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration at www.tigda.gov. Call the TIGDA hotline at 1-800-366-4484. Please share this message.
Hello, my name is Bo, and I'm here today on behalf of the AARP Foundation Elder Watch program to tell you about the IRS imposter scam. This scam occurs when citizens receive aggressive phone calls claiming to be from the IRS. Con artists use fake names and false IRS identification badge numbers in order to appear legitimate. Victims are told that they owe money to the IRS and it must be immediately paid through a prepaid debit card or a wire transfer. If the contacted party refuses to cooperate, the scam artist becomes hostile and threatens to arrest the victim within 30 minutes or issue a suspension of their driver's license. In other cases, victims are told that they're eligible for a refund and are tricked into sharing private information. If the victim does not answer the phone, the con artists often leave a threatening, urgent callback request. According to the IRS, the agency will not contact citizens and demand immediate payment without a written notice. The contacted party is given the opportunity to dispute the outstanding tax claim and will never be asked to pay the amount owed through a specific means of payment over the phone. The IRS further claims that it will never threaten to bring in law enforcement authorities to have citizens arrested for not complying with an IRS agent. Remember, it is best not to answer phone calls if you don't recognize the number calling you. And always remember to verify the identity of someone calling you by contacting that agency directly or by checking with an objective third-party organization. If an IRS imposter reaches out to you, it's best to report it to the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration at 1-800-366-4484 or www.tigta.gov. And don't ever hesitate to call an Elder Watch volunteer specialist at 1-800-222-4444 option 2 to report any concerns.
Welcome back to Curtain Call, and I'm delighted to have Marge McGugan, who's been our costumer for many, many shows here, and she has costumed You Can't Take It With You. And we also have Kate Mumford, who plays Essie, and You Can't Take It With You, which is a delightful role. I would like to start with Marge first, because this is a period piece.
Yes.
And there's certain things that you can and cannot do, even down to how people stand and sit and talk.
Exactly. With the 1930s, I think it's set at 1938, and definitely pre-World War II, back when women always wore dresses, and it didn't matter what time of the year it was. Men had suit coats on, they wore hats. I can remember seeing, when I was doing the research for this, watching old baseball games and seeing gentlemen in the stands in suits, ties in the middle of July watching the Yankees play.
I miss some of that, actually.
Yeah.
Just a bit. You know,
Yeah,
it's
everybody
nice to
dressed-
be comfy. Yeah, but when you can dress up and go to a ball or something,
Yeah.
it is really nice.
Yeah, they dressed up just to go out.
So were you able to find everything from Laurel Mill Playhouse, or did you have to go searching, or?
I did a little bit of consignment shopping, and I was able to pick up a couple of pieces there. Now, one of the dresses that one of the characters is wearing, I picked up a base dress and then went upstairs, because we've got quite a lot of material and trim that's been lovingly donated. And I used some of that stuff up. So one person is going to be very blingy on stage.
Great.
Thanks to the consignment shopping and a little bit of extra sewing.
For me as an actress, I love when it's a period piece, because you get to like step out and be somebody really different.
Yes.
Costuming wise, what do you like about that aspect?
Pretty much the same thing. It's a totally different world. It's nice to get out of this world. And I like the part where I get to go back in history a little bit. I'm a history buff anyway. And it's nice to see how things were. And you can kind of do comparisons between the way people dress now and the way they used to dress. And, you know, there really isn't too much of a difference, except maybe in the attitudes.
Oh, that's an interesting thought. Yeah,
There's not too much of a difference. Fashions haven't changed all that much. The biggest thing I've seen, at least with the 60s and 70s, you know, the hemlines and the addition of females wearing pants on a regular basis. But that actually started during World War II, so.
Yeah, I mean, this era I think is a great look. Tell us about some of the other shows that you've costumed at Laurel Mill Playhouse.
Let's see, I did the Christmas one, It's a Wonderful Life. I was able to costume that one. I costumed, and I also got a chance to perform in To Kill a Mockingbird, and worked with Charlotte's Web and a couple of other things.
Pride
too.
and Prejudice.
Pride and
Did you do
Prejudice,
a lot of
yeah, I
that?
did that one
Yeah.
too.
That was great fun.
That was a lot of fun. It was a lot more work because we ended up having to do more sewing, but
Yeah.
now we've got a stock of those kind of costumes.
So you were a teacher and you retired from teaching. What in your previous life brought you to this point where you costumed shows?
I used to be a home economics teacher, or a family and
okay.
consumer sciences now. And I taught sewing, I taught cooking and child care and all money management, all those things that are electives in the school system now, but still need to be taught. And one of my units with my high school kids, when I taught high school, was to teach dress design. And I figured, let's do it from let's get a job perspective. So I talked to the drama coach, and the first thing my kids costumed was A Comedy of Errors. And while it was a Shakespeare play, the kids, when they first read the script for A Comedy of Errors, they thought, oh great, nothing but togas. And it's like, wait a minute. Reading the script is step one. Consulting with the director on his vision is step two. And he said, we're going total steampunk with that. We're going to do A Comedy of Errors kind of steampunk-wise. And they ended up having a blast with it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
You're kind of proof of the fact that anything you do in your life normally can be brought to the stage.
Yes,
You
definitely.
know, teaching, economics,
Yeah.
accounting.
Everything.
You know, a teacher is an actress too. You do that so well
Oh.
because you're always acting in front of the students. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Keeping their attention and.
You have to be a ham in order to stand in front of teenagers
Right.
these days.
Well, we thank you for all the work you've done at Laurel Mill Playhouse. It's just been fantastic to
welcome.
have somebody like you.
Thank you.
Always there that we can depend on.
Thank you.
And Kate, welcome to Laurel Mill Playhouse for the first time, right?
Yeah, first time.
That's great. And you play one of my favorite characters, Essie. Can you talk a little bit about Essie and what she does and is on this particular show?
Essie is a very bubbly character. She desperately wants to be a ballet dancer and also desperately stinks at being a ballet dancer. So it's just so much fun to play with. You know, my character, I'm the older sister, and I just absolutely am gushing about how much I love my family and how much I want to dance, and I'm just bouncing around the stage and prancing around with candy dishes and trying to help my little sister fall in love. And it's absolutely wonderful.
I've seen you during some of the rehearsals, and you are a stitch.
I'm the
you
physical comedy.
And you have a lot of energy because there's a lot of continual dancing going on while other things are happening on stage,
Yeah,
right?
it takes endurance, that's
Yeah,
for sure,
yeah.
especially during Tech Week.
Well, what brought you to Laurel Mill Playhouse?
I have a friend who he just finished directing House at Laurel Mill Playhouse.
Daniel Johnston.
Yeah. So I met him earlier last summer, and he and I became friends, and just all these auditions started popping up in my Facebook feed that he was interested in, and I saw this one. I was like, this would be perfect, and I can spare the time, so let's see what I can do. And then I got in. I'm like, okay, now we're doing this.
That's great. That's great. Daniel is going to be directing some during the summer also, and he's going to be directing an Agatha Christie in the fall. So we're excited to have him back. He was great fun to work with. What would be your dream role, your next dream role to get?
I think if I was going to be in something like a musical, I'd want to do something very kind of the classic musical, like maybe The Music Man, and I could be Marion the Librarian or something like that. If I was going to be in another play, I'm not sure there's so many good ones. I would love to do a Shakespeare. I haven't done Shakespeare since high school, and I'd love to do something overly dramatic like Ophelia or Miranda or something like that.
Well, I'm writing that down. We'll keep that in mind. And you've all bonded really well.
We have a great cast.
It's been a great lunches before rehearsal on Saturdays and all.
Karaoke and some random Tuesday night.
Yeah.
It wasn't random, it was our director's birthday. But
Right.
And that definitely helps. I think a cast and the tech people work together and all that. So, well, we thank you both for all that you've brought to You Can't Take It With You, and we expect that you'll be back many, many times.
hope so.
Without a doubt.
So we'll be back in just a few moments. We have another actress or two that I'm going to interview. Thanks.
Families come in all sizes and shapes. Sometimes your friends are your family by choice, or sometimes you're just stuck with Uncle Charles. But what we know is that you want to protect the people that are close to you. But the flu can unravel everything. Your flu vaccine protects you and your family. No matter what draws your family together, protect yourself, protect your family. Everyone needs a flu vaccine.
Hay familias de todos los tamaños y formas. A veces los amigos son nuestra familia. O a veces no tenemos más que al gran tío Pepe. Pero siempre queremos proteger a nuestros seres queridos. La influenza o gripe puede cambiarlo todo. La vacuna contra la influenza les protege a ti y a tu familia. Sin importar lo que los una, protégete y cuida a tu familia. Todos necesitamos la vacuna contra la influenza.
Welcome back to Curtain Call, and I'm delighted to have Miranda with us, Miranda Snyder, who is playing the role of Alice, the love interest in You Can't Take It With You.
Yes.
So thank you so much for coming. I know you had a little wild time getting here, so we're
Yes.
glad to have you. You've done a lot of stuff at Laurel Playhouse, and it's so great to have you in this role. Tell us a little bit about Alice.
So Alice, she's been really fun to figure out, but the funniest thing I think is she reminds me a lot of like my own family, because I have a very eccentric family with very big personalities. So I relate to her a lot in that sense. I don't want to admit that I'm as dramatic as she is when like things go bad, but it could be a possibility. So it's been really fun to kind of amplify how she actually acts as a person and play off what my experiences are and then interpret them how Alice would in her situation.
Great. I'm dying to ask this. Was this your first stage kiss?
No, my first one was actually still at Laurel Playhouse.
Oh, okay.
It was in Little Shop of Horrors, and I played Audrey, and his name was Cam, and he played Seymour, and that was my first stage kiss.
Oh, okay. Just getting it over the first time is nice, I think, on stage.
Yes, it definitely is.
So, so you said you're kind of, what kind of, you're part like her.
Yes.
Character-wise, you know, your family is. Is there a part that's not like you at all?
One of the things I remember like reading through the script and I was like, Alice, you're so stupid. She was going through and she's throwing this big fit because the whole night with her family, like meeting Tony's family, didn't go over well. And I would be stressed too, but then she feels the need to like flee to the Adirondacks, which I think is a little bit dramatic. Like maybe just like go watch Netflix for like a day, like don't talk to someone. I think she's a little over dramatic in her reactions to things, but she has a very good heart. So I think that's kind of where Alice lies.
You're young, but you've acted many, many years, haven't you?
Yes, I started in 8th grade and I did it, and I'm now a junior in college.
Wow, that's great. It's great to do it during college too. You were telling us early about what you're majoring in, so
Yes.
Tell everybody about that.
I actually just transferred into UMD College Park, and I am studying, it's called government and politics there, but I always keep calling it political science. But I'm also getting a minor in the Russian language and counterterrorism.
It's great. So does theater give you a relief from all those studies?
It's really nice because it's just something that was a very big part of my life when I was in high school. So I kind of put that aside when I was focusing on working and going to school and like learning about the world, which I think are all amazing things. But sometimes it just gets kind of burdensome and you think about all these bad things in the world. But when you get to do theater, I was taking a class up at UMBC and like we started the class off doing yoga, which I thought was weird at first, but it was really nice. And then like you get to get in this awesome headspace where like nothing matters, like you don't touch your phone or anything like that. You just kind of sit there and you get to like be in that moment and like do something completely and disconnect, which is just really nice when everything in life is so connected now.
So what do you like about working with John and working with this particular cast? Because you've all had a great time. I've been part of that.
My favorite thing about working with John, he's really good at laughing when we do funny things. I think he gives us a lot of freedom, but just enough guidance. And I think she was interviewed earlier. It was the girl who plays my sister, Kate. Her and I have a lot of fun off stage. Last night during one of the rehearsals, I was supposed to be like really, really upset. And I was like grabbing her hand. I'm like, I'm so sad. I'm like, why do you always look so funny? And we like broke character for a quick second, but it's just, there's a really great camaraderie and environment about it, which I think is a really nice thing to have about a show.
I think it translates to the actual performance.
It really
too.
does.
Why should people come see this play? Because it's been done a lot. It's a lot of fun, but why should they come see it at Laurel Mill Playhouse?
Well, I have really cute costumes, but I think it's a really fun, lively show. You have a lot of different people involved, and it's kind of just like the show itself with the people inside of it. Like, it's very eccentric. They all care about each other. And I mean, yes, you could see it anywhere, but what I really like about Laurel Mill and why I keep coming back is that it's a very intimate theater. So when you have a big show in an intimate theater, it feels really cool. And I really don't know how else to phrase it better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that the intimacy of the theater brings people right onto the stage.
Right.
You know, and it's nice. as an actor, to get that feedback back from the audience so quickly and meet them afterwards.
Right.
So come and say hello to the people. Thank you so much for coming.
Of course.
And thank you so much for viewing Curtain Call. And You Can't Take It With You starts February the 9th, which is a Friday, and goes to March the 4th. It's Fridays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. And then the last 2 Sundays of the run is at 2 p.m. So there's matinees. And you should get your tickets online, and you can just go to the website at laurelmillplayhouse.org, and you can just buy online there, because this is going to sell out. It's got a lot of people in it, a lot of fans of Laurel Mill Playhouse and the actors and the actresses. So, and if you have any questions, call 301-617-9906, and then press 2. Again, that's 301-617-9906 and press 2. So I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.